Alrighty. Okay. Good evening. Chocolate, caffeine, and a partially built chassis. If I could just get the camera to focus, but it doesn't want to. There we go. Partially built chassis. Suspension arms sorted. The drive shaft issue is, well, resolved as much as I think I can resolve it. It seems to not be so hard to put the covers back on. If I ever want to change it, I'm obviously going to have to take that shock bolt out, and I'll probably have to do the same on the front. But at the moment, seems like it'll be okay. So the next job is to finish up this rear suspension. I've got one axle already made. I need to make up the second one, so I'm gonna have to keep making sure that I'm also looking at the high ride height part of the book, and that I have bearings where I need them. So I need 2 bearings for this mount. I'm going to put some grease into this hole, and it is the top hole on there, top hole on there. So I have to put that through there. Grease into the top hole. This grease is a little bit unforgiving. It's not the easiest to get out, but it's got a schnoozle, so it's easier to put in. The noozle at the end of the hooze. The dog is going to annoy the neighbours. I may need to quickly go out and remedy that situation because it is 9 o'clock at night. One moment. Maybe he stopped. But I know him. He won't be able to leave it there. All right, bearing. Bearing in there. And one in there. Nope, if I can put it in there correctly. I actually got this before and I sort of shoved it in with this. See, there he is again. One moment. There we go. You can look at the sign. All right, there we go. Back to the action. Right, so that one, and then I've got this ball link that's going to go in there in the top hole. So let's get this in. That's right, in the top there. We've got the screen door open because on Christmas Eve I painted a wall, and it's ever so fragrant. Hello, dear.
Brad Pyle, do you only want the t-shirty ones? On my side?
Yes, please.
Because that's shiny.
Yep.
Is that cottony?
Yeah, just leave anything you don't want. I'll get rid of whatever's...
Those ones are shinier, and these ones are all t-shirts.
Okay, lovely.
So I'll put them in your box. I don't want to sit down, please.
That's all right. Just leave a pile. I'll put them up before I come in. Then what do I do with this? This one goes through. I've got to put grease on it. I remember that. It needs greasing.
I actually got my exercise shirt.
Yep.
That's an old one. I've given you the Rio one because it's see-through.
Okay.
But it's got diamantes on it.
Okay.
So chop them out if they're no good for scrubbing.
Oops. All right. So I should have two things that look like that. What goes in there? All right. So the screw pin has to go through. So I'm going to use these screw pins, and I have a feeling there are O-rings that go in these, so I better put those in. These are a little bit tricky because it shows them ever so gently, just sort of balancing them on these little dog bone things, but I haven't been able to get them to balance. So what I've been doing is a spot of grease, squidge it on there, and then push it in. That didn't work. Try again. Shove it down in there. The same with this one. Get that on there, and then shove it down in there. So they're in the bottom. All right. Now I'm going to have to be mindful of which is left, which, oh, this is 2L. That's handy. So the left-hand one is going to go on this side, I think. And I think what I need to do is put the bottom screw first, and then try and attach the top with the arm up there with the dog bone. All right. So that will mean a bit of grease in bottom hole on this, bit of grease on the ends of the dog bone, and the same on the other side. All right, should we try that? Yes, let's give that a jolly good college try. There is an O-ring in there. There's an O-ring in there. Okay. So grease through the bottom hole, I think. Oh no, through the, I need to look at the high, right height, which is grease through the top hole. Okay. There we go. Grease. Move that forward so it's able to be seen. So I need to start this pin and pull this back a bit and hopefully get that through. And then okay, then I need to figure out how to get this to go in here. I think it should be right. This might be the challenge. As well as during all this, I really don't have any idea how much grease I'm meant to be applying. So it's a bit hit and miss. But I think that's pretty good. And then the steering arm. Attaches there. And it's not falling out. Like that. And that is moving nicely. All right, so the same on this side. Grease in the top hole. Grease to the front. Top hole. I wonder if it would be better to put the dog bone in to start, or will that make things worse? Again, don't know if that's too much. We'll find out now. So put that there. Yep, this might have been a mistake. Let's see, maybe I can put that on there, that one in there, line that up there, screw pin through there, tighten it up. Steering arm. One. Yeah. The last person I saw do this had a problem. Am I going to have the same problem? Let's see. So one arm, it's kind of hard to show. I'll stand this up on end like this. If I raise and put this on here, one arm is considerably lower than the other. And it is mainly because of this, the edge of this drive shaft housing. So a couple of things that I can try and do. I did find a little washer before. I might try and space that out with a washer or two. And I might also see if I can get this drive shaft housing in any closed up any tighter like that. That's oh, that might have been enough. Hold on, let's have a look. I think that's done it. There we go. Simple fix. Screw that in a bit tighter, and Bob's your father's brother. I'm not going to mess with that. So we have rear axles done. There's some suspension. It moves. That one moves. It does still hit, but I don't think it's going to be too bad. It might cause a bit of... If I needed to, I could always put a couple of spaces down behind here and push it out slightly. I think it's okay. All right. So now we're on to the next stage. So I presume that'll be the front axles. So that's all for so now it's asking me to open bag D. Oh yes, there's some more axles and stuff in there. I just need to double check that I haven't missed any more parts about using foam tape. I don't think I have. A real shame if it turns out that I needed some and I'd forgotten it, but I think a lot of the foam tape steps were back just in assembling the chassis itself, like the squares. I haven't seen any squares. So bag D, the front arms. I've already done the shocks. They're done and ready to go. There are some bearings, some more dog bone type drive shafts. That's okay. So it's really just about building out the front axles by the look. All right, so for the front steering arms, I need C8 and C3, C8 and C4. So that is sprue C, C8, three and four. They don't show any of those on them, so I can cut them. All right, 8, 3 and 4. I need the other 8, which will be on this one. C8, 3 and 4. I don't know why I need 2 of them, but I'm sure things will become clear soon. All right, so C8 is this one, and that goes into that one, and it's keyed, and then a screw goes through the back there. Okay, I can do that. And then one like that for the other side. Where's the other 8? Did I not cut off the other 8? I did not. There it is, 8. Note the direction. Remove that sprue. Great, I did that. Note the direction. So there's a left and a right. Those, I guess, will be the same, so it won't matter. So that will look like that, and they go together with BA6. Okay, well, I've got one BA6, so I will use that. A bit of grease in these to make it a little bit easier to thread. Just I don't think there's any difference in them for the ride height or anything. Right, parts bag D. I've got some more O-rings, but I would suspect parts bag D is going to have more O-rings, and it's got more foam tape in it, so that is something to be aware of. This is quite thick stuff though. Some thicker sort of double-sided tape. Oh, it's got some zip ties. More bushings. Okay. They are just dead sprues. Okay. So I need, that's the cups and stuff for the, and some R-clips, pinion gear, and so that's all for lining up lock nuts for the wheels. That's fine. That's for the motor. Not quite sure. The zip ties are probably going to be for mounting the electronics, so I'll move them. All right, so this is my nuts and bolts, my Nutrigrain. If you're an Australian kid and you grew up eating Nutrigrain, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, and how many do I have left? I don't think I have 6. I have 4 left. That's a bugger. Maybe they did send me the wrong kit. I'm going to be mixing and matching. Oh well. Maybe if I put some of them on the inward and some on the outward. Unless my other bearings arrive in time. Doubtful. Right, ball end driver. 1. These are very soft plastic screws. But this is my first time building any kind of radio control kit. I have built other, that is too thick now. I built other radio controlled things, but they've never been a kit. They've always been things that I have made, you know, custom. So this is a new experience to me. I'm not hating it, I'm not loving it. I'm just simply saying it's different. I'm hoping to get experience on this because I actually have got another one, and I've just been searching the interwebs today, and since I cannot afford to buy the real things, the actual vehicles, I've got a special connection with a third one, and I thought maybe I should just buy that one and that will be it. Okay, so that's those done. Now I'm just double checking it doesn't say anything about high ride height or low ride height. So they are together left and right. So that's the left side, that's the right side. Now I need C18 and my little drive shaft cups. I need to put O-rings inside them, and then there are more screw pins. So that will be these ones. There are some step screws. But what size? Is that it? I don't think it is. It might be 14 mil. No, I think that's more 14 mil. But there's quite a few of them. So which is which? Oh, there's some silvery, shiny ones. These. It looks like there's 2 of them. And it does say there's 2 of those. So these ones are probably for the suspension. No, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of them as well. Ooh. Hold on. Check the guide at the back. Check the parts list. BD2. It says there's BD5. There's 4 of them. Kingpins. Right. So these are the kingpins. but there's also that's the step screws. There's actually 6 of them. Okay, that's all right. There's them. That's for the front suspension, front steering. Okay. All right, slowly organizing itself. Okay, all right. I'm doing a lot of okay, all right, because I've never done this before. So what have we got? So I need 2 BD2, and they go through those into the middle thing. Okay. So that's into there. Right, okay. All right. And then BD2 is also through there. Right. BC2 are the 46mm screw pins. So they will be, I would guess, the longer ones. This is what I don't get. Sometimes things are in separate bags and they're needed for the same step. It really weirds me out when I do that. Okay. So these should be 46. I'm going to say that's 46 and that's 46. So they're the ones. That one can go back. Don't need that one yet. It's going through the bottom. All right. I just want to get these built, then I can go in and call it a night. Time for chocolate. This is a timeout wafer. This one is from the UK, but it's regularly purchased in Australia at certain discount stores. They're sort of parallel imports or something. Yeah, someone's auntie sends them in a big box. Oh, yeah. I need the 2 cups, don't I? I need 2 O-rings, not those ones. Those 2. All right. All right. Come on, James. Time to toughen up and just do it. First of all, let's put the O-rings in. So that's them. Get rid of a packet. Plonk. Always works with works better with onomatopoeia. Works better with sound effects. Oh, that didn't work. That went terribly. How do I get that back out now? Tweezers. Try again. Right. God's sake. Blip. That's better. That one's in. That one hopefully is going to be just sticky enough to... Nope, that one doesn't want to go either. Try again. That's in. Grease. Then grease me up, woman. Lunch lady Doris, have you got any grease? Oh, grease me up, woman. Okie dokie. Now this is the point where I was really worried because I thought they didn't line up, but sort of finagle them in. I think I've got these going in the right part. Yeah. There we go. 1, 2, da. I can twist them and I can see the when they're both twisting, the drive shaft is moving, so that's good. All right, they're on. I gotta say, from my very limited experience, what I do find helpful, this is probably a no-brainer to anyone that's ever made one of these, is orient the model the same as the book. That's going to sound really daft, but that's what makes it work for me. O-rings are in there. Everyone remember that. Screw pins are going to go in from the front. So I'll put some grease on these 2 points. Greases pieces. And then they have to go through that way because that's the same orientation that they are in the book. So I started off, oh, you can't really see. There we go. I'm going to start it off through here. Just sort of, there we go. I do find this screwdriver is better for 90% of it because you can see my blister on my hand from using a nice screwdriver. I was putting hinges into a hardwood cabinet, and that one is none too good. The only downside of greasing everything when you're putting this stuff together, though, is that everything gets rather greasy and it's a little bit of a mess. Okay, so that side. Hope everyone enjoyed their Christmas and they watched Christmas movies and ate Christmassy foods, whatever the Christmassy food happens to be for you. Whether you do, roast dinners or seafood or whatever it is that you do. This one's very floppy compared to this one, but maybe they'll free up. Okay, so they are both on in the same orientation as the book. The book's got it like that. They're the same way. So now it wants me to build the front axles, which are the red pieces. So I will need F11 and F1, and then I'll need a bearing and another like stub axle type cup. So BD5 is the same, but F11 and F12 are different. Okay, so that's 6, that's not it. Oh, now, hang on. I think I might have skipped a step. I think there was something else that needed to be attached. Yes, C18 needed to be attached on both sides with those little step screws. with 2 of those. So let me get them. They will probably be on this grey one, I think. No. C18. There's 18 there. It looks like they're the same both ways around. I think it's just really getting used to the way that the instructions work, right? And they go into the holes that are poking out that side. So they're going to go into these holes. So a bit of grease to assist. I really would like a ratcheting one of these. I bought myself a ratcheting screwdriver, and then my son found it while I was shopping and decided to remind me that the ratcheting screwdriver he had bought from Bunnings had broken. And I said, yes, that's a real shame. And so the ratcheting screwdriver that I bought, he got for Christmas. So I would like one of these vessel ratcheting drivers. Just for jobs like this where you could actually not have to loosen your grip to sort of to keep going. I don't think there's a difference in, no, I think they're quite equidistant. So I'm looking around, I see a set with these where the ball part actually separates from the blade part and you can put other bits in them, and I think that might be ideal. I was thinking that for the reason I wanted these screwdrivers was for when I'm out with the Daleks. And Daleks, when you're out at events, have an annoying habit of having little electromechanical gremlins appear that don't appear when they are sitting in storage in your shed, but they do appear when you go out on location. So I thought about getting some of these, and these have been, I've used this all the time for taking stuff apart because it really just doesn't hurt my hand. My dad had some of these back in the 90s when he was working on TVs, and he got them from a local cheap shop because Vessel was not a sort of well-known brand. It kind of still isn't, as far as I know. Like, if you ask people about electrical screwdrivers, they're all Wera and Weha and that kind of stuff. But this has been very good. And he had some really long-handled ones because they were the only ones that were deep enough to reach the case screws on CRT televisions, like big CRT televisions, big ones. Back in the heyday, back in the CRT days, when, I mean, I remember buying my first big television was a 68 centimeter Panasonic back in the early 2000s, so 20 years ago or more, probably about 20 years ago. I think I was still studying, and I'd worked all summer at a cash in hand job, washing dishes and waiting on tables at a restaurant to afford this CRT television. And the only reason I could afford it was because the owner of the restaurant actually owned the electrical. Right, so I need the kingpins for these now. Owned the electrical shop. So I basically worked, didn't get paid, and then got my my television. Right, so it looks like this goes in the first hole. Looks like that lines up with the front hole on these sort of hubs. So let me cut them off. But I was very grateful. I remember watching my big TV, and then I came back to my hometown on a teaching practical experience, and my big TV was there because I couldn't move it between the city and the country. It was just too heavy. Right, so this is, I need to check, it's for the high setting. So what do I need? These get set up the same regardless. So F1 is the same for both, so I can cut those off. I'll do one to start with, shall I? No, let's do both. Let's do both. That way you can stuff it up twice. Okay. All right, there we go. So I need I've got to put a bearing in. Well, these bearings are not going to be coming out, so that's going to go in there. And one's going to go in there. I might end up. And then there's some axle cups there and there. And they have to be greased, I would guess. Yep. Slight lubrication. This is grease for fishing reels that I've got. That's I don't know if it's going to be any good. Might turn out to be the worst idea ever, but there you go. Now I need these king pins, I think. Now, does it show? I don't think it does. It doesn't show putting O-rings in these. They're the front little ones. It doesn't actually show putting O-rings in these front wheel axles. So, and there's no O-ring there. Oh well. 1, 2. So we'll lay them out side by side. All right, now the next part is the little ball link. Let me just sort of orient this. I'll orient that one that way like that. So when it's oriented that way, which is the same as the book now, it's got the link going through into that hole on the end. So I will put some grease into that hole on both sides and screw those away. I'm not sure what glue to use on the wheels. I've got some thin super glue. I don't know if that's what you're meant to use. Here's my little nut driver that came in my kit, my little 5.5 millimeter. Now I want to make sure these go in straight because really stuff up my steering if they don't. And if you've had a look at my shorts feed, you will see what solution I came up with for my issue with the bearings for the drive shaft, which it wasn't my ideal solution, but I didn't really have many options left. Okay, that's 1, that's 2. All right, so now BA13, which is the one that goes like that, has got one of those that goes in there like that, and then that is held together with the two kingpins. So I will put some grease. I keep putting the lid on the grease to then take the lid off again. I'll put some grease in these holes to hopefully make it a little bit easier to get in. And probably no, I'll grease the other one in a moment. So that goes on there like that, which should then stop that from coming out. These are the kingpins. If I can just need to be able to maneuver this so I can actually see the hole. And I'll probably just start one, flip it over, and then start the other, just to get a bit of even startery upperiness. And then there's some screw pins that have to go through on the high side of these. And then that goes like that, and then it fixes in between there using the top hole and the top hole there. So it's a step screw, a 14mm step screw, so one of those. But I also have to make sure that I've got the drive shaft in there, which will be a bit of a, oh no, I should be able to get it. Alright, so that one, now this one. So I want that pointing up. I suppose it's therapeutic, isn't it? Except when everything's magnetic, everything else sticks to it. Magnetic things are meant to be handy, so you don't need two hands to do jobs that you can do one-handed, except when one side wants to help a bit too much. Now that's come out. There we go, that's back in. Now I can tell why Mark RC puts little R clips on there. And if I had some little R clips to put on there, I would do that too. But I does not. Also, sometimes these don't sort of screw in all the way, and you know, you go in as far as you can. You try and leave minimal gaps, but if they're not screwing all the way, you know, I suppose there's also going to be some degree of play in it. because it's not a precision engineered race car, is it? So there's 1 and 1. So now I want the ball joint facing down. That's that steering ball joint facing down when it goes into here. And I want the top so what I might do, I might see if I can get the dog bone in here, and I don't know, it might hold on. Let's see. And then it's for the high setting, it's the 2 top holes. So top hole, top hole. Right. This is where we may come unstuck. That's got to go together using a screw pin. So one of these on the bottom. I'm trying to get the bottom lined up first. And at the bottom, oh God, touch the grease. I'm trying to get that sort of horizontal and that kind of horizontal. See if I can get that in first. See if I can. And then I'm using the bottom hole through the top hole. So like that, I think. A bit of finagling, but I think I've got it. And this screwdriver always seems to find a staple. It's always got a staple stuck to it. Piss off. And then this one should go through again, top hole with a 3x14 step screw, which is that one. And then the steering arm should click in. There we go. So now that will travel. And now I just need to do the same on the other side. So I need to remember how it goes. Come on, James, it can't be that hard. Right. Take that down. Move that. What I'm going to do is set this up as my little sort of ramp. Lose my thing. Right. So that's obviously going to be pointing out. That's going to be pointing to the front for the steering arm to hook onto. Can still see it. What if I move it over there? Okay. So I need the drive shaft. Let's put a bit on here. Squidge a bit in there. Squidge a bit on there. Okay, drive shaft. Okay, that's in. So now what I'm going to try and do, I'm going to try and get this drive shaft horizontal, and then I'll pivot that around. So that is horizontal. And then I want the top hole at the bottom. And I want the top hole at the top. So now, with all good fortune and luck, I should be able to put that in, spin that around. Should hopefully nope. Okay. I'm right-handed. I'm horribly right-handed. So what if I try and get this into here first? Okay. Oh. All right. There we go. That's sort of in there. This one is going to go through here. Oh my good goodness. Okay. Just relax. All right, drive shaft in. Okay. Now it's in both sides. Starting from the bottom. Take that out. What is different? That's going to end up under there. I suppose it doesn't matter if I just try and... Can I loosen that up half a turn, quarter of a turn, to provide some clearance? I can't see why that won't go together. Go back, just so. And just C8 and that's C8. That won't make a difference. C4 and C3 would make a difference, but they're keyed to work together, so they can't possibly be wrong. The only thing I can think of is that I've tightened this up a bit too much and it's pinched together too much. So I can loosen it and now see if this will go. All right, that's going better. So let me get the pin started there. It seems to work a bit better. So here comes the pin on the pinion. So I must have just over tightened that. Rookie mistake, right? Okay, right. Then I can flip that back. Then I can try and get the drive shaft in. At this point, it might even help me to raise this up a little bit to give me a bit more clearance to get the drive shaft in, because it might be a bit tight. Here we go. Oh, stay in there. Okay, that one is down there. Top hole. I think if I get the shocks on, I am probably gonna call that a night. Steering arm attaches there. There we go. So now we've got front and rear axles. The rears have got their suspension. So now I just need to add the suspension to the front, and then I think that will do me for this evening. Now I'm just putting the lid back on the grease because I will need it in 10 minutes time. Okay, that was a bit of a kerfuffle. Okay, it doesn't show them putting on high and low there. It doesn't show the thing. So now I've got to have my shocks, which are here. That's the top. Not quite sure where they're going to mount, but from there to there, apparently. Three by 14 step screws, top and bottom. I don't see how that's going to... Oh, maybe. Let's see, shall we? All right, so grease there, both sides. Like I said, put the lid on the grease, need the grease straight away. I'm going to put the lid on the grease because I know I'm going to need it straight away. Just a spot though. I'm not putting a bee's dick of grease on it. What's another measure of small amount? I'm putting a politician's justice. No. One, two. Two more. Oh, maybe it's two long ones and two short ones. BD2. BD2. Iron. BC1 3 by 18. So they're the top ones. Yep. And the little ones are the bottom ones. Okay. Okie dokie. I think I'll start by mounting the bottom ones first. Top ones. Get into top ones, meester. I would have thought maybe there would have been. There is. There's a couple of spaces. F14. That's what I'm missing. Okay. F14. That'll be these. F14. And I've noticed F13 anywhere. Geez, I hope not. Okay. Okay. That's all right. That's why you start off gentle like. Gentle like a dog. Did I miss F13? Let me just go back and look. C18. It could be that they're needed for different levels of suspensionism. No. F14, okay. Okay. Okay, dokey. Okie dokie, okie dokie, dokie dokie, okie. Anyone else excited for the Beverly Hills Cop requel on Netflix? I think I'm just like a lot of people. I miss the 80s. Funny thing is, if you asked me in the 80s if I'd missed the 80s, I'd have told you the 80s sucked. Because no one actually misses the 80s. They just miss being young. Like when if you're listening and your parents were born in, the 50s or before, the 60s and 70s, they don't miss those times. Those times at the time sucked big time. They miss being young. They miss their youth. Boing, boing, boing. Boing, boing, boing. Boing, 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 boing. There we go. Lovely. So now I think I've got front body posts to put on there. And they are these little ones. So let's do that. Just to reduce the number of pieces that are hanging about. One. And of course I'm kidding myself that this is the hard part. When I start putting the stickers on, that's going to be a pain. And they are held in with the 3x10 screws, which are these ones. Okay, so they're going that way. Like that. La 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 la. Grease. See? Put the tube on the grease. Put the lid on the grease. need the grease. How to guarantee that you will need the grease? Put the lid on the tube. If you're in Australia and you're annoyed that you've had cold weather this Christmas, I'm very sorry. My son got a paddling pool. It's like when I spray the weeds. Guaranteed it's going to absolutely bucket down with rain when I spray the weeds. Cold Christmases can be... Last time we had a cold Christmas, he got one of those inflatable water slide things. So that was the reason it was cold at Christmas. Last Christmas, we gave you a water slide, and the very next day, it was minus 12 degrees. I better be careful. I don't want to get sued. I keep it to myself. All right. How's it going? Body posts on. Body posting. Body posting. Body posting. We be body posting. So I've not got much left from these, but there's a few bits and bobs. Body moving. Body moving. Body moving. Hey, body moving. I got doubles of everything, so I don't know if I need doubles of everything, but the road chassis is intended for this is the front bumper mount. That way. I need a couple more blocks of wood now for this thing to sit on. Body moving, body moving. All right, and of course, what do I know? Grease. I got the song stuck in my head. Thanks, YouTube. And if any of you watching are new subscribers, I just want to let you know you are my favorite people in the world. You are, if you are newly subscribed, you are officially one of the coolest individuals on the face of this earth. That's too big. Joke's been made there, but keep it clean, keep it clean. Yep, spray the weeds, bring the rains. I hear it rains 'cause I sprayed the weeds. It's not I heard the rains down in Africa. It's I heard the rain because Jim sprayed the weeds. I heard it rained because Jim sprayed the weeds. So you'd have to have a very narrow screwdriver to fit into this little gap to do these up. I'm trying really hard to not tear the heads out the top of the screws. And I would almost have put the body posts on after I'd done this so you could flip it over and apply some downward force. That's pretty good. I'm kind of happy with that. All right. Front bumper, attach aid. So what step is this? 32. Oh, step 33. That's attaching the motor. I don't know if I'm ready to attach the motor, to be honest. Now, I've lost all the viewers. Apply instant cement. I'm guessing they just mean glue. And the other thing I need to double check is the whatever hubs go onto the wheels, because I need to be sure that whatever I'm using is going to work with my car. So BA13. Oh, that's a bearing. That's fine. A5. Where the hell is A5? Is that a sprue? A5. Yeah, it is. All right. So, and tell me your views on this for viewers. What color wheels should I put on it? So here they are for your approval or disapproval. So I can either go with blue mini light style, or I can go with black kick-ass alloy style. I'm not sure. I'm thinking, let me get them out of the packet so you can see the difference. I don't know if there's really a clear-cut winner here, but here we go. Let's have a look. Bear in mind that this has got a white body. So I have a wheel on there or a wheel on there. Which do you think looks? Which looks the dog's bollocks? The duck's nuts, so to speak. This is obviously the battery holder. And what I have got is I have a 3D printed adapter for a 2-cell LiPo battery, which should, if I can maneuver it in my manipulator suitably, should be able to, yep, go in there like that. And that will mean that the electrics, whatnot, can all go together. So I don't know. I'm not sure which wheels to go for, because obviously once I've glued them on, I can't really change them. And I guess you glue them on to stop the wheels spinning on the tire. So, it is a conundrum. And so this reset is meant to be for the ESC. Now the thing is, I've got another one of these to build, right? And I bought parts for this one because I'm trying to do it on the cheap. So I bought parts for this. This one is just going to have stuff sort of like this and this like that, and bits and pieces sort of together. I might put the switch over this side with some double-sided tape like supplied. Maybe the battery. I'll probably do the battery coming out there, just because that's the easy way to do it. You know, flick it over there, attach it like that. But the other one I've got, the receiver is freaking huge and needs to go like that. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is, you know, attaching that there. And then I still think an ESC. I bought another one basically the same as this. Can still go like that. Should still be able to plug in. I should still be able to run wires to it, but I might need to sort of make a little sort of pad or something to go in there, just so that, and then some thick Velcro or some double-sided tape to hold that on there. It's all coming together. I don't know which wheels though. So which wheels? Black wheels, blue wheels. What do you think, people? Comment, black or blue. Let me know. It sounds like I'm gonna beat someone up. Comment, black or blue. What colour do you want me to leave them? It's a bit gnarly. And there are, I've been told to watch out because there are left and right tyres. But it says apply instant cement, which I'm guessing is just super glue. Which I do have some super glue. So I think what they've done is they've given you, they've wrapped the two, you know, left ones or whatever. Apparently there's a marking on them. Tamiya, and then there's like a dot or something. I think these are the right tyres. And then these are like the lefties. But you gotta have the wheel face facing the same way as the writing, and you sort of whack them on like this. Now I can sit them on there at least in the interim until I know what we're going to do. I think what you need to actually do is not make that silly noise on camera. The car's paint color is going to be white. So it's a white. That's a really silly move. Nearly got him. Sort of wheel it around. I suppose I'll get used to doing this kind of thing. So like that. Should I do a blue one as well? Writing facing the front. So basically I've got a front and rear. Each one is. Ow. I will have to put this in the community tab, white or blue, blue or black. So here we go. Here it is on the car again. So blue or black. I suppose I could do one of each, but yeah. I think I didn't want these because I really wanted silver. So I would put them on if I'd painted them silver, but I haven't painted them silver. I could still paint them silver, but that'll add another day or so. But then again, I could always buy another set of tyres, I suppose, paint them silver and see how they look. But the black ones are what I bought to go on this. The blue ones are what came with it standard. So I can't decide right now. I'm leaning towards black. Not true, bigger statement, could be. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it until such time as a clear-cut winner is decided. As far as instant cement, I might have to go buy some more glue. I've got a bit of Loctite liquid super glue. I can now put the lid on the grease because I won't need it again. All right. Well, I won't need it until tomorrow. Lovely. Well, that's greatly reduced the amount of stuff because now there are some R clips and some washers and some screws and stuff for different parts of the body. That's mainly to do with the lights. A motor. So the motor has to basically get sort of shoehorned into there. So that will go back there and drive everything. And so we'll need to route the cables to that around to there. But it's getting there. It's a lot closer than it was. As I said, I'm going to leave it there for now and call this one step closer to being done. Certainly my collection of parts has greatly reduced. Still got a lot of these little bearing things. I'm going to count these all up. I still have 2 bearings. And then I've got these 2 brass bushings, and I don't really know what they're for. I haven't seen them mentioned yet. And my worry is I'm going to get to the end and realize I've got to strip it all down because I forgot one. So I'm trying to, go by the book. I'll put those ones back in and give a bit of a clean up before I go. So that will be it from me. Until next time, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. Make sure your banana is where you can see it. And if you need to find your grease, just put the lid back on it because then you'll need it again. Bye.